Hey guys, it's the WalterFootball.com After the Dark show for August 22nd, 2024. We're going to be doing another 2024 fantasy football mock draft. And we are live, a little late. We had some funny comments here. I'll show them in a little bit. And I'm also going to post the mock draft link here. So you guys can click in and join, before everyone else does. After I do the intro, I'm going to post the links on Twitter and whatnot. So, you guys just sign up and we'll be ready to go shortly. But before we get to that, please like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit the link in the description for the merch store. All that would help us out a lot. We have a ton of t-shirts here. I highlighted Biden pooped his pants yesterday. September's Lust Month. That's coming up in 12 days here. Actually, as of midnight, 11 days. So get your Lust Month t-shirts. You want to be prepared for Lust Month. You want to show that lust rights are human rights, just like gluttony rights are human rights. That's our August t-shirts. So we have a bunch of t-shirts here, and they're all pretty reasonably priced, between like $17 and $20. We also have a coffee mug if you guys want that. So buying this kind of stuff would help the show. Also, super chats, super stickers would be really helpful as well. We've had John Sanders, Slew, and Germ the past few episodes, especially Slew the past couple episodes, just really helping us out with these super chat, super stickers, because YouTube ads pay nothing. So I always say, we make less than $1 if we don't get a super chat or super sticker. So any contributions would really be appreciated. Also, you can go to Amazon and buy my book. It is called Jerks of the College Years. As you can see here, I made fun of a lot of weird people during my 6 years at Penn State. Yeah, 6 years. So I had a lot of writing material. It took me a while to publish this book, but I think you guys will enjoy it if you guys like any sort of writing where where someone makes fun of other people. So this is basically what that book is all about. Also, there's my second book was how the 2020 MVP was stolen. It is the story about how Brett Favre tried to sabotage Aaron Rodgers' rookie or MVP season. You guys can read about that as well. Without further ado, we have Kenny Ortiz, the owner of thecapIsFake.com. Kenny, how's it going?
Oh, bro, I am living the dream, and I'm my sensitive radars are up. Is that a word? I don't even know. Some of these comments bashing me. I mean, come on, this is unbelievable, guys. We'll get to those in a minute, I guess. My self-esteem is bashed.
Yeah, so Mega started, is this Body Burner or Kenny tonight? John says it's running late, so it must be Kenny. And then Mega says he's probably waiting for permission from his wife. What do you have to say about that, Kenny?
Well, my wife said yes, so here I am. And I do run late. It's because I'm Hispanic. Well, I got to be racist, man.
You got to pull the race card. John says, luckily mine goes to bed early. Pro tip: a happy marriage involves different working shifts. My wife goes to bed at like 9:30 or 10 in the evening. I go to bed at like 5:30, 6 a.m. And I would like ideally go to bed at like 4:30 or something, but my wife hits the snooze button like 8 times. So if I try to do that, I'll be awakened so many times it's not worth it. So I usually just go to bed when she wakes up. So it's kind of like it is a shift of sorts, like our bedtime. But yeah, it is pretty clutch. So we actually have 3 spots left. I haven't even tweeted this out yet, but I suppose I will. Before we get to the mock draft, before we get started, I have to credit and thank you, Kenny, for introducing me to a new show. It's called From. It's on right now. It's on Amazon Prime. It's only on Amazon Prime for like 10 more days, and then it goes to MGM Plus. But you can get as Kenny pointed out to me, you can get a 7-day free trial and watch it, which I'm doing for season 2 right now. If you guys like Lost, I would definitely recommend it. It's like almost a carbon copy of Lost, except it's not on an island. If it was on an island, it would like pretty much be the same, except it's condensed to like 10 episodes instead of 23. So I felt like Lost is obviously better, but like Lost had more of an opportunity to kind of flesh out all the characters, whereas like From does that with some characters, but like other characters, they almost feel hollow just because like they don't have enough episodes to do that. But that's my only negative thing I could say about the show. Like otherwise it's really good. It feels like Lost and The Walking Dead, but like in the early days of Walking Dead where you're like on pins and needles, So Thank you.
My wife described it the same way. She's like, I think it's it's kind of a cross between Walking Dead and Lost.
Yeah.
Not as good as either one, but still pretty good.
I think it's as good as The Walking Dead. Maybe not. Season 1 of The Walking Dead was insane. There's only 6 episodes. But the rest of The Walking Dead, I think it's better than the rest of The Walking Dead. Like,
The Walking Dead did fall off. I mean, the first 3 seasons of Walking Dead I absolutely loved, and then it quit. By season 6, I quit. My wife watched the whole series, like 10 seasons. I couldn't do it. I got lost.
I watched like 9 of the 10 seasons, and when they first introduced stormtroopers in season 10, I was like, I'm done with this. Come on, man, stormtroopers, like what are they doing in The Walking Dead? And there was a decline. I was like pot committed though. I don't know. I just kept watching it. Plus, like, I usually just watch it with my parents. Like, before I had kids, I used to go over to my parents' house to watch Thursday Night Football with my dad, and then afterward, we'd watch the Walking Dead episode from Sunday. But I mean, I don't do that anymore because I have 2 kids now. Plus, I was like, they always wanted to watch Walking Dead. I'm like, oh, come on, the show sucks. Let's watch something else. But I feel like they're pot committed as well. Mega says you cockblocked my number 7 spot, Walter. I chose number 7 because it was. I actually looked at what I haven't chosen yet. I haven't chosen 1, 5, 7, and 8 yet, so I decided to go to number 7. But we have a full room, so let's hit start draft here, and we are underway. Spinetta has the first pick, and we got a full room pretty quickly, so it's pretty cool. Has anything changed your mind? So Spinetta to Brees Hall. Has anything changed your mind regarding the top pick, Kenny? Like, if you have the top pick, like, who would you take?
I'm still taking McCaffrey, but I think you could make a strong argument for any of those 3 guys: Hall, McCaffrey, Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
I just like McCaffrey still until I see him fall off a cliff. I'm going to trust him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it. I just Jahmyr Gibbs at 4. I've not seen him that early, but I don't hate it. Jahmyr Gibbs is awesome. C. Lamb, number 5. Yeah, I think that's the earliest we've seen Gibbs, but granted, he got banged up, so I think that's fine. So this is interesting. My top players are running back, but I feel like all the receivers will be gone by the time I'm around. And I think that there's going to be a running back I like that comes back to me at 206. So I'm going to try to see what happens if I go receiver here and then go running back the second round. Just an experiment. I've not drafted out of the 7th spot before. I went to Tyreek Hill. I think that offense is going to be insane this year just because they're going to have to pass a lot more. Their defense is going to be so much worse. You're going to see the receivers go. I feel like the receivers go very quickly. And we'll see what Dylan does. Dylan has done a few shows with us in the past. You're up at 11. Any reason you chose 11? Or just
I was in 10. I have not really drafted at the end of the first round. And we'll talk about it at the end of the show, but I published my kind of what I think is my perfect draft plan for 2024. Okay. And I tell you, man, there are multiple times where I just felt like the guy that I have to pick at this spot just gives me acid reflux. And so, I don't know if I'm going to have to pick at any point, at that spot. Devon Achane going in the first round.
I've not seen that. All right, you're up at 11.
So to me, this is an easy pick. It's Jonathan Taylor. I'm surprised he's there at that spot. I would be ecstatic to get him at the 11 spot in typical leagues.
Yeah, Taylor was the top player on my board, but I really wanted to see if one of the running backs would come back to me because I feel like the receivers are gonna all go, and there's only one receiver left who I have in my top tier, and I imagine if Rofi doesn't take him, I think you will. We'll see. I imagine there you go, AJ Brown. All my top tier receivers are gone. You could argue one guy is close, so you're up now. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm taking my next guy on the board is Garrett Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
I love him. I think he's fantastic. And surprised. I feel like I see him going later in a lot of mock drafts. And in best ball leagues, he's kind of a late second round pick. I've done a bunch of DraftKings best ball leagues this summer. In best ball, I actually like him even more. But yeah, I love him, and I think he's got less question marks than most. He's kind of one of my. We were texting about this. He's kind of one of my flag players. He's one of the guys that like, yo, you're up. I'll shut up. Oh no, you're going.
Trump is best is up than me. Good.
Wilson's the guy that I just think I'm higher on than most people, so I think I'm going to end up drafting him a lot.
Oh, Josh Jacobs is gone. Trump best sniped him for me. I was hoping either Kyron Williams or Josh Jacobs would fall to me. So Dylan and Trump best, they stole my guys. So I'm taking like a lesser player here that I want. It's either one of the two running backs, and really I could go for either. And I have like the one guy over the other, but I think the other guy's better. So I think that I may adjust my rankings after this because I when push comes to shove, I would take this guy over the other, and it's going to be Pacheco here. I just think that Pacheco playing third downs way more often this year with Jerick McKinnon gone. I like Pacheco quite a bit, and the other guy when he's I don't want to mention it, but okay, ATN goes. That was the other guy. I don't like ATN gets like a lot of touches, but he doesn't do all that much with those touches. So, and plus the Chiefs are a better team than Jaguars. So, I don't know. I assume you like Pacheco over ETN too, right?
I do. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that I ordered them wrong in my rankings. So I've probably changed that. Marvin Harrison Jr. is once again goes in the second round. I think that's just I love his talent. I just think that's too early for him, given that he's a rookie, but the potential's there for sure. But I'm still surprised by Achan at 109. I've not seen him that early.
Yeah, that's odd. To me, Achan is like, where do I have him? Kind of in my draft profile. In my mind, he's like a late third, early fourth round pick is the kind of guy I like. I would not take him in the second. I just think that's. First of all, he's got tiny bones. He's brittle. Second of all, we haven't seen him do it. I don't know. Very odd to me.
Yeah, I feel like this is best ball. You'd like him a lot more.
Yeah,
but I've seen in our mocks he's gone late second or early third. So I'm by the way I'm warming up to Kenneth Walker here. Not in the second round so much, but. I didn't like him that much earlier in the offseason, but they signed Connor Williams to play center, and he's one of the best run blockers in the NFL. So I like him more now. You're talking about players that we like drafting. Josh Jacobs is definitely one of them. I still think like 205 is just way too late for him. Like he could easily lead the league in rushing.
I've seen him go I've seen his ADP be as like in the third round in some places.
I know. It's insane. I don't get it. I really don't understand.
I can't imagine that's actually going to be the case when people are drafting in their kind of typical home leagues. I just can't imagine Josh Jacobs is going to last a late third.
Yeah, I don't understand why he'd be going so late. And like now we've entered the like the area in which it's like impossible to draft because like James Cook in the third round in a non PPR like seems horrible, but then. He's my seventh best player available. So like, it's like, I don't understand where this third tier went. It's just not here for some reason. I like, it's such a weird dynamic this season where all these guys are missing. Yeah. So yeah, we discussed that before. John says, who else is Murray going to throw to? Nice. Dave says back-to-back nights, Walt, with a questionable co-host. Thank God you were upping your game tomorrow. Yes, Dave will be on tomorrow. Yeah, after the games. So tomorrow's going to be somewhat of a late start because there are two games on tomorrow. They're at 8 and 8:20, so approximately 11:20 is when they'll be done. So around then is when we'll start tomorrow. So although it is like 11:20 right now, so not too much later than tonight, I guess. But yeah, it's the final week of the preseason. We've made it for the most part. I don't expect a lot of starters to play this third week. I know like Caleb Williams is not playing. I assume like all the rookies who have won their jobs are not going to play. Like why would they? some rookies will play. There's gonna be some important players, but I think for the most part, it's gonna be kind of a useless week. Debo Samuel went. Scary hours sniped me there. I was gonna consider Debo, although it sounds like there is a chance that Ayuk returns now. So it's kind of like my thesis for drafting Samuel. So I'm here in the third round, and it's pretty slim pickings here. It's pretty rough. I'm going to go with a guy who's a little banged up, but sounds like he's going to be healthy, Joe Mixon. And I'm not crazy about taking Joe Mixon because what happens is you can't take the Texan receivers because you have Joe Mixon. I guess you can, but it really just interferes with their plan if you take one of the Texan receivers. So that's the downside of taking Mixon, but he's going to get all the touches in Houston, and we saw what Singletary did last year. So I know you like better. Mixon. What'd you say?
And Mixon is much better than him.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I know you like him, and you are up now. So what are you doing?
Now there are several wide receivers here I like, and now I regret not having taken a running back. I wish I would actually take. If I do it over again, I would have taken Josh Jacobs, because there are several receivers here that I actually really like.
Okay,
and not nearly as many running backs that I don't like. And so, yeah, that's a bummer. And I might even I'll let me take my player and then I'll come back and talk about.
Okay.
Let's do I think in this spot right here I will take Mr. Let's take DJ Moore, who I just think is fantastic and ready for a huge breakout. And then Kamara just went. Kamara was the other guy I was thinking about there. I thought which guy would be most likely to go there. So that was not a wise gamble on my part.
I'm becoming more and more bearish on Kamara. As just realize how bad the Saints offensive line is. I think the Saints might have the worst offensive line in the NFL. And I think that I think they have the potential to have the worst team in the league this year, the Saints overall. So it's like running back a bad team. I don't want it. But if this is PPR, I'd like him more because he can catch a lot of passes. But in standard, you're not going to get those points. So you're up again. So what are you doing?
I'm gonna go Aaron Jones here. Kamara. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but he's in the third or fourth round, not in the first round, not in the second round. I mean, it's
right.
We all how many years have we seen Barkley put up great stats behind a terrible offensive line? I mean, I agree with you, but he's still worth a third or fourth round pick. I've seen Kamara go as late as the fifth in a lot of mocks, and again, I can't imagine that's going to be the case. So, I thought I could be able to pull a fast one here. I should have taken Kamara, and then the receiver I like probably would still be available, but that's all right.
Okay, so Connor went. I thought I can get Connor in the fifth round. I was wondering about a quarterback here, but there's a conflict here with actually the top two quarterbacks. There are conflicts at running back. So
go ahead. Sorry.
No. Go ahead.
You're on the clock.
Yeah. I have to decide who I'm going to take. Let's see here. I think I'm going to take. Yeah, I was just talking up Kenneth Walker. I'm going to take the receiver on that team, Metcalf. It's for the same reason I like Metcalf a little bit more now. The run blocking doesn't help him directly, but if that offense functions better, then he's going to have more chances to score touchdowns. So I was pretty bearish on Seattle earlier in the season or the offseason, and now I like them more. So Mahomes is the quarterback I had a conflict with because of Pacheco, and then you probably guess who the other one is. I think I would have taken Mahomes there if I didn't draft Pacheco. I know your stance on quarterbacks, but third round I think is too early. Fourth round I think is fine.
I actually wrote in my draft plan. We talk about it after, but I if you get to the fourth round and there's 39 guys that I would take before a quarterback. Mm-hmm. Now, when I'm picking here in the fourth round, there's 6 of those guys on the board still. So, but if I'm drafting in the late fourth, probability is there's a possibility I would consider Mahomes in the late fourth in a standard league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that was a really good pick by Sanders. And I would have taken him if I didn't draft Pacheco. So, what are your thoughts on that? Like, do you think I was right to avoid that?
I am. I don't usually that doesn't usually bother me. Like, I think they're gonna have enough fantasy points to go around, and then you get the kind of the Mahomes Pacheco, stack. Pacheco's gonna catch some passes and he's gonna get some receiving touchdowns. Not a ton, but he'll get some.
Yeah.
That offense is going to score enough points. I wouldn't be as concerned about it. On bad teams, I'm more concerned about it. Or
speaking of stack, Sanders just went Mahomes Kelsey, which is pretty good. Any DFS player would enjoy that. So that was a nice pairing there. All right, so we are let's scroll here. So yeah, fifth round. Sam Laporta was someone I was thinking of on the way back. Usually don't like taking tight ends early, but Laporta in the fifth, like that is great value. He went in the second round of our draft yesterday, which is obviously way too early, but fifth round, it's great value for him.
Even in the fifth, what you have to return for it to be great, just everything has to go right. And so to me, it feels like seventh is the place I would target one of the top tight ends. If none of them are going to fall to round 7, but
yeah.
I get nervous. So many things can go wrong. I mean, tight ends are so touchdown dependent, and it just things can happen. You're on the clock. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about who I'm drafting here. I think Higgins. I would have taken Higgins if he fell to me. There's one player I think I rank pretty highly, but depending on what happens, it could change. I'll just take him here because it sounded like so it's George Pickens, who is going to have a great opportunity if he's the number one receiver there. And you could worry. Christian Kirk I was considering as well. You could worry about that. Like the quarterbacking, but. Like we saw last year, Courtland Sutton caught 10 touchdowns in Chicago, where Justin Fields played. DJ Moore was amazing, so I'm not too worried about that. Obviously, Brandon Ayuk going to Pittsburgh could change that, but I just said earlier the Niners are talking to him about a new contract, so it could end up being that he goes back there, so to San Francisco. So you're up. So what are you doing?
I'm going Tony Pollard here. I've gone back and watched quite a bit of Pollard from last year. Everyone who said he was injured or there were things, I don't know. I don't buy it. I think he's fine. Bad luck. And I would imagine he's going to get, 60% of the carries. I think he'll be fine. I love him as a third running back flex play.
I thought he looked very explosive in the preseason game. I don't know if I talked to you since that preseason game, but he looked like his former self, like in that preseason game. Now I know it's like a small sample size, and sure, like it was one preseason game, so like who cares? But he looked like his old self, so I think is noteworthy.
Something very uncharacteristic for Mr. Ortiz here for you. Tight end in the 6th round. It's a little early, but he's not going to last to me in the 7th. And I've come around as I've been doing more and more mocks and looking at standard leagues.
Mm-hmm.
I've come around to if one of the top tight ends is available, really I want him in round 7. But I can do it around 6 if there's no other player that I absolutely love on the board. If Laporta or Kelsey were to somehow last that long, which won't happen, obviously, but a Mark Andrews or Trey McBride, or sorry, I shouldn't say guys who haven't been taken already. Sorry. Like if those guys are still on the board when I'm drafting in round 6 or 7, I'm seriously considering those guys. So I'm doing that here in the mock just to kind of see what my team ends up. Do I like the result of my team at the end of this?
It makes sense to experiment. I am up right now, and I'm going to draft a guy sticking with the theme of players looking like their former selves. Javonte Williams. Early in the offseason, we were so down on him because we saw that Cecil Lammey report where Javonte Williams was basically on the roster bubble, and like he's gotten all the first team reps on first and second down in the preseason, and he's looked really good. Like he looks like his former self, which makes sense because he's 2 years removed from the torn ACL. Now, this could count as running back on bad team, but he does have a rookie quarterback, and he might check down a lot. And I know this is standard, but I just think he's going to have an opportunity, to score some points. And if I'm wrong about Denver being one of the worst teams, which obviously could happen, then he could have a big year. So sixth round is my third running back. I like Javonte Williams. So I've definitely changed my opinion on him. Have you done the same?
I've not watched him play a lot. I have not been in a situation at any point at any point in a mock draft where I feel like he was the best player available. So I haven't ever been pressed to take him, or I haven't been in a situation where I'm like, sweating it out. So I do have him listed as a guy that I would be willing to take in the 5th or 6th round if there's no one else there I like, but there's almost always someone else there I like more.
Okay, interesting. He was the best running back left on my board. I did have other positions there, but Jonathan Brooks way too early at 6'12", unless something changed. Great value with Mark Andrews in the 7th round. I was really hoping he'd fall back to me. I even considered him a little bit in the 6th round, but I didn't want to. I don't want to take his high number before my 3rd running back. It was a sharp pick by Funky Dan. Especially with the pairing. He paired Jackson with Andrews, which is great. And then Xavier Worthy. So I've been kind of keeping track of where Worthy goes because he had that great second preseason game. So in the 3 drafts, ever since that game, he went in the 5th round, then the 8th round, then the 7th round. Did you get to watch Worthy? And if so, where would you take him?
I've got Worthy. Where do I have him at? I have him listed as a 7th or 8th round pick in a 12-team standard league. So I have him kind of a significant notch below some of the guys that are still on the board.
Okay, makes sense. I think there's a lot of potential, but then again, there's Marquise Brown who's going to come back. Let's see. Cassandra says I would rather have ATN over Pacheco. What we saw from Pacheco last season is probably his absolute ceiling. I don't know. I just think that ATN's not that good. I don't know. That's my problem with him. I think Pacheco's a better player.
I've been down on ATN forever. Obviously, that we've talked about this. I don't think he's that good. But
yeah,
the more and more I draft, in that 2nd round, if I'm drafting mid to late 2nd round, more and more I am finding myself thinking that ATN might be a better option than I was thinking earlier in the offseason. It's partially informed by kind of what you've talked about. There does feel like there's a vacuum in that spot in the draft, and I'm like, yeah, 18. He is going to be the primary ball carrier. Maybe that offense is going to be good. I like Doug Peterson. I like Trevor Lawrence. Maybe he's a better pick. I think Cassandra's point on Pacheco being that might be true. What we saw last year might really be the ceiling, but Pacheco might also have all the wherewithal and ability to repeat his ceiling because of the offense he's with. When you're playing with Patrick Mahomes and an Andy Reid offense, you're always going to have a chance to hit your ceiling. Yeah,
and I don't know. I mean, he might have a larger ceiling or higher ceiling because he's going to be playing on 3rd down this year. So that's not what he was doing last year. So he might have more touches as Scary Hours might time out here. Calvin Ridley goes. I know you love that pick. So let's see here. What am I doing?
Round 15, I love it.
All right, so 7th round. What am I doing here? Then it's still too early for a quarterback. One of my favorite guys is here, so I guess I'll go with him. I was considering this guy in the 6th round, so I don't know why he keeps falling. I guess it's the injury stuff, but it's Christian Watson, who has amazing upside. Especially, I mean, if he can stay healthy, which is a big if, but still, he's going to have some monster games. I mean, he's not just a boomer bust guy. His down games the quote unquote down games will still be fine. It's just the injury question marks. Marquise Brown, another interesting pick. I was hoping he'd come back to me in the 8th round because he's injured right now, but when he returns, he's probably gonna be the number 1 receiver on that team. So I like that pick.
He would not have made it back to you.
Okay, well, good to know because we have our draft on September 2nd, so it's good to know that. Bagus says Walker's good, but Watson.
Christian Watson wouldn't have made it back to you either if you didn't pick him there. So
okay, all right, fair enough. Now I know all of Kenny's draft plans. All right, you're up in the 7th round.
Yeah, this is a guy that I thought about in the 5th round and in the 6th round. He's been in my queue, so I got to take him here. The ageless wonder, Mr. Keenan Allen, who looked every bit as good late last year when he was healthy as he ever has. People are saying he's lost a step. I don't know. I don't see it. I think he's going to be the primary catcher of the ball in that team. I just realized actually I drafted DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. That was
but you got to draft Keller Williams now to pair those two guys.
So I'm not as smart as I thought I was. I forgot I had DJ Moore on my team.
That happens. All right, you're up in the 8th round now.
So I'm chatting here. Okay, 8th round.
It's hard to talk and draft.
Chase Brown's actually the guy I should have freaking taken him. That's all right. Okay, I'm going to take the guy. He's been moving up my board quite a bit. Make sure I don't have any other players on this team here. Okay, this guy's been moving up my board quite a bit. Mr. One, Gus Edwards.
No.
Who is
please tell me on it.
He's the epitome of mediocre.
Yes.
He is just the guy. There is nothing special about Gus Edwards. But Gus Edwards has shown that when he gets a decent amount of carries, he's viable. He's productive. And I think I like that offense. I think I like the coach. You're up. But so in the 8th round as my 4th running back, I think he could do worse.
Man, I don't know. I hate Gus Edwards. I'm surprised you didn't take Jalen Warren. I thought he was your guy. I'm shocked that you didn't take him.
Well, it's the injury. I mean, he's
yeah, but it's not going to be out for that long.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I knocked him down a round.
Okay. All right. Well, I was gonna take him if he made it back to me. So it's kind of throws a wrench into my plan.
It's helpful to know that. Yeah. Oh, you're on the clock. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to take my 4th running back here. I know this is a guy you don't like, so I guess this is kind of the theme here. We're drafting guys we don't like. The other guy doesn't like, I should say. Oh no, Zamir White's gone. Never mind. So I got 12 seconds. All right. I didn't want to make this pick. I'm gonna take Jordan Love. I was hoping he'd come back to me in the 9th round. I was running out of time, so I just kind of panicked there. So I'm pairing him with Watson. Love is the best player on my board, but there's a bunch of quarterbacks there, so it's kind of like a logjam where I thought that I'd get one of these guys in rounds 9 or 10. And ideally, I was going to take Zamir White. Where did Zamir White go? He went round 603. I just missed that. So I thought that I don't love Zamir White. Obviously, 8th round. But I thought that the value there in the 8th round would have been pretty good. But yeah, obviously that was not the case. So someone took him in the 6th. It kind of goes to show that I don't like him that much. But I mean, I think I'm fine with Jordan Love there. Like if he made it back to me at 9 in the 9th round at 907, I would have sniped him like pretty quickly. So I know you don't like quarterbacks necessarily, obviously.
No, not usually.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, if I wasn't running out of time, I think I actually would have gone with no, he was not taken. So yeah, there's someone else I have my radar. So it'll be interesting to see if he comes back to me in the 9th round, and I would just take him anyway. So Trey Benson goes. Spinetta loves these. Chuba Hubbard was the guy. So I just like looking at my board, I would have taken Hubbard, but that's fine.
My queue had 8 guys in it a moment ago, and they're down to 3 guys. So like 5 of the last couple guys have been in my queue. So Jerome Ford, Jalen Warren, nice. Godwin, Addison, Benson, Hubbard were all in my queue.
Nice. Yeah, that tends to happen around this time. Let's see. But HN has a high YPC, Kenny, so it's a reason to take him.
That's all you need. YPC.
Exactly. So Bagley says Walker's going to be Loxley out of Jackson Smith and Jigba later. Well, I feel like that late, you don't. Maybe Bagley's joking, but I think like that, like being that late, it doesn't really matter at that point. It's just like the first 5 rounds, just don't want to take it. Slot 2 takes 3 running backs. Is this a free league or a 3 running back start league? Well, you can play your flex, right? So he's just stocking up on running backs here and then just addressing everything else. So we'll see how his team pans out. But I think he's drafted some good players. I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm not a fan of James Cook in standard. So if I were to redo that team, I think instead of James Cook, I would have taken like Debo. And then maybe get your running back in like round 6 or something, or round 7. But I mean, I still like the team, so no real qualms there. So Deontay Johnson goes. Let's get to some more comments. The boss says, I got Bijan, Gibbs, Jacobs with my first 3 picks before the Jacobs hype came. That's awesome. I didn't even know there's Jacobs hype, which I'm kind of sad to hear about because I love Jacobs this year. Let's see. Mega says Puka and Kappa, same team, huh? Is that true? But the person, yeah, but the Hoist took Nakua and Cup from the same team. That's interesting. Not something I would recommend.
I would not want to do that.
Yes, not something I would recommend.
I've seen Cup's ADP slowly going up. I mean, we talked about this a month ago. Said like, hey, I don't really trust ADP in July and early August. Like it ends up changing so much. It almost means nothing. Yeah. And there's a few players that have significantly shifted their ADP, and one of them is Cup. Oh, you're on the board. Sorry.
Yeah. I am. It's kind of considering what I'm doing here. Let's see. I think it's time to start taking some sleepers. So, yeah, I think let's go Rico Dowdle. He could lead the Cowboys in carries. Now there's a chance the Cowboys trade for a running back, but I think at this time during the draft, you should probably start drafting your sleepers. So, Rico Dowdle is, I think his ADP is, let me take a look. It's, actually don't have it here. I think it's like 10th round or something. So taking slightly earlier, but I'm fine with it. So, have you rethought your stance on the Cowboys? Like I know you liked Dowdle earlier.
Yeah, no, I still like him. I would rather, to me, the target round for Rico Dowdle is like round 11 in my mind.
Oh, really? Okay.
So maybe I'll just never get him. I would rather not. I'm still going to draft Zeke ahead of him. I think I got Zeke. I don't know where I have Zeke listed.
Yeah. You're up. By the way,
I got Zeke listed as a 9th or 10th round target, and Dowdle's 11th.
All right, you're up.
I'm going to take a quarterback here. So I'm going to have a tight end and a quarterback before round 9. This is
what's going on here.
I don't know what's going on, but I can't believe Joe Burrow's still on the board.
Yeah.
In my mind, I have him 4th among quarterbacks. I think he can easily lead the league in passing. So yeah, really surprised there. And then my receiver core is looking pretty weak here. So I think I'm gonna have to address it. I'm gonna have to take some shots here. I'm gonna have to reach a little bit. Don't love doing that, but let's go with I'm gonna go with Mr. the Ageless Wonder, Mr. Hopkins here. As kind of maybe as a safe high floor but low upside play.
Yeah, I mean he's injured right now, but I don't think it's like a bad injury, and I think there's a chance he actually plays in week 1. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about that. I mean, obviously the big concern is the quarterback, like Will Levis, but if he improves, then suddenly you got a good player there.
I mean, I think Levis is mediocre. I think a lot of people think he's bad. I think he's mediocre. Like I think he's better than Daniel Jones. Maybe that's not a very high standard.
No, definitely not. He had 2 games last year. He looked great. The first game against Atlanta, and then the second game was the Monday night game against Miami. But he had some games last year where he looked awful too. Like the game against Tampa. If you watch that game, I don't think you want anything to do with Will Levis. So he was just all over the place last year, but he was a rookie, so maybe that's to be expected. Dallas Goedert usually goes in the 11th round, so he goes 10th round here, which I think is actually probably the right spot for him. But there's just so many tight ends that I feel like there's not a need to even address this position at the moment. Going to draft. I think I'm going to draft another running back here because I think I'm better at receiver than running back. You know, if Pacheco, Mixon, my top 2, and then Williams, I think I can get better at running back. So the next running back on my list is a guy who's going later than this. It's Ray Davis, who just looks outstanding. I think he looked great in the preseason. James Cook has been fumbling a lot in training camp, and so I think that it's not out of the question that Ray Davis is going to take his job at some point. At the very least, he could get goal line work. So I think that he's a guy who can kind of win your league. Maybe like if Cook goes down or is benched. Like suddenly Davis, what'd you say?
Be huge.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. So the type of guys that you should be drafting in the second half of your draft, just like guys who can win your leagues. We had Mike Lucine on Monday from Rough Draft, NFLRoughDraft.com. He kind of spoke about that a lot, which I used to talk about, but he kind of like nailed the point. Is just in the late rounds, just look for guys who can win your league. So like, don't draft just mediocre players. I used to call it the Wayne Corbett rule. I remember Wayne Corbett for the Jets. Like he used to be like good player in real life, but just like for fantasy, you've never topped like 6 or 7 points in standard. And so it's like people would still draft him just because he was a starting receiver for the Jets, and like they would cut him by like week 5 just because like he had no upside. So try to get your upside guys, not round 9 and onward. Jacoby Myers, I love that pick. I was going to take him, but I felt that my receivers are stronger than running backs. So, because I love Myers because there's a real chance that Devontae Adams is traded, and if so, Myers is going to be the number 1 receiver on that team. So, I like the value.
Myers he's a good player. I think he's underrated. People don't realize that he's a really solid player.
Yeah, he's produced with every quarterback he's played with. John says, I'd be shocked if the 49ers trade Ayuk at this point. Yeah, it's looking less and less likely, but, you never know. Baggett says, Kenny, blink twice if there's someone behind you forcing you to take a tight end around 6. Yeah. So Kenny taking or tight ends early, Walt taking running backs on a bad team. What is going on here? Ridley clashes with Pollard anyway. Yeah. Sandra says Pacheco could repeat and ATN could decline a bit. ATN will still be more valuable. PPR, especially, is drafted standard. Yeah, if this is PPR, I'd like him more, but it is standard. Although a Ricky Pearsall went, he just Spinetta broke my heart there with Pearsall. But again, it's looking less likely that there's going to be a trade now. So as we're talking about guys who we're drafting a lot, like in my mock drafts, I've been drafting Pearsall quite a bit. But if there's no trade, suddenly Pearsall's value just plummets. So, I just kind of have to worry about that. He's listed as my number 1 sleeper though, because his ADP is the 15th round. Good
thing I bought all those Rainmakers Pearsall cards.
I would have done that as well. I was kind of like counting the points in my head because I had a Caleb Williams legendary card, and he had a great second preseason game, and so it's the preseason, so they don't have any cash contests in the preseason. Just you win packs. I was like, man, I could be winning a Rainmaker pack or legendary pack here. This could be so great. And it's like, no, you're not going to win anything because Rainmakers is gone. Unfortunately, which
sad day.
Very sad for us. I used to love opening these packs on stream. It used to be so much fun. They've taken it away from us because some boomer judge is like, oh, this seems like a security to me.
They took away my joy.
Yeah, they take away everything.
It's like forcing me to have a giant on my fantasy team.
They want us in the pod eating bugs and not drafting Rainmakers, not making Rainmaker lineups.
And rooting for the Giants.
Right. All right. So I am up here, and it's a little weird that I think that so kind of like the spot to take a tight end. I think David Njoku is available, which is I think absurd. Like, why is David Njoku available?
Because he sucks.
He was awesome last year. I don't know. I mean, he's super talented, like physically talented. I don't know. He's like a stud, like talent wise. He doesn't always produce in the past, but last year he was amazing. So, yeah. Actually, I'm looking at
this. Amazing for 1 year too.
What'd you say?
Gary Barnidge was amazing for 1 year too.
And Njoku was a first round pick though. I'm actually this. If I had more time here, I would have not drafted Njoku here because this is kind of a lesson here. So Trump S has a tight end, Dylan has a tight end, Boyce has a tight end, you have a tight end, T. Ruffy has a tight end. I feel like I could have gotten Njoku on the way back. So if I had to do this again, I would have taken him in the 12th round. Although everyone has a tight end. I was the last person to do it. Then again, the computer could draft a backup tight end for Trump Best here, or maybe someone could take a backup tight end. Brock Purdy goes.
Purdy in the 11th. There's several quarterbacks on the board here. Purdy just went. There's 3 other guys that I'm surprised are still there that I thought would be gone in the 11th. So Burrow in the 9th is not looking as great, but I mean, I'm still glad I got him. But
that's great value. Burrow in the 9th. That's outstanding. It's kind of like the same value as Jordan Love in the 9th. You know what I mean? Like, so I got Jordan Love in the 8th. Again, I wish I would have gone with Hubbard. I wonder if he would have gotten back to me. If he didn't, I would have considered Burrow in round 9. So let's see if we have any more comments here. John says Green Bay and Chicago's receivers are tough to project. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Cassandra says, damn it, Kenny, you even talked for a minute about how much you liked Moore when he took him, and I was nodding along there agreeing with you. How did you forget?
Because I'm an idiot. That's how I forgot.
It's hard to talk in draft. Sue says, wasn't Eckler a first-round pick in mock draft last year? How far he was falling. Yeah, I think he's going underdrafted at the moment right now because last year he had a great week 1, and then he got hurt, and then he just never was the same. So I think there's a chance he bounces back. But then again, there's just a chance that he could be done as well because he's kind of old. So, Jay Daniels, one of those quarterbacks I imagine you were looking at.
Yep, Jay Daniels was one of the ones I was looking at. There's 2 more still on the board that I like. I like Dotson. Dotson's one of my favorite value plays this year. It's pretty much in the 11th round on. I'm thinking about him every time. And Zach Charbonnet. Remember once upon a time Zach Charbonnet was like a 5th round fantasy pick. Last year was it 5th or 6th round? I mean, he was being drafted so high. And like everyone's like, oh, he's going to take Ken Walker's job. Ken Walker's awesome, but Charbonnet's a really good player as well. So 12th round, I'll take my shots with him. If Walker gets injured or ends up being a 50-50, Charbonnet is going to have some really good value. I think he's a great player.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys, again, like around 12, you take him and he could win you your league if Walker goes down. Like I don't think he's going to take Walker's job. I feel like Walker's kind of entrenched there, but like any running back can get hurt. So like every running back every RB2 in the NFL should be owned, provided that they're like a good player. Like I'm not talking about like Alexander Madison or something, but like Charbonnet is actually a good player, so he should be owned. I don't know why Hoistman should not be drafting tight end in 2 and 3 rounds. Like that's something you shouldn't do. Dotson I was higher on earlier in the offseason. I actually read an article last night. Some beat writer for Washington, he thinks that Dotson is going to get cut because Dan Quinn, he's in Dan Quinn's doghouse or something. So thought I'd put that out there.
That seems dumb. Like, why would he cut him? I don't know. Like, maybe.
Well, if he does cut him, I mean, he's going to go to another team and have a chance. So, which actually could help him because the Redskins have a scrambling quarterback as a rookie. The guy I was considering in round 11 is still available as far as I can see, which means that I was not punished for taking Njoku early, although it's still a good practice to just do that. I'm going to take what's his name? Braylon Allen here. Another potential league winner. If Breece Hall goes down, Braylon Allen's going to get the majority of the workload. He's the RB2 on that team. He's looked really good. So he's someone I have on my sleepers list, and I've been drafting him quite a bit too. So another guy I've been drafting a lot.
Nice. Elliott just went. I'm surprised Elliott's still there on the board in 12th round.
I don't think I'd draft him at all. I don't think I would draft him.
12th round, you wouldn't draft him?
I don't draft him in the 16th round. I don't see the point. Like he's not gonna do anything this year. He's gonna get 5 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, and catch 30 passes. Like, I mean, he could.
Yeah, I guess you're really confident that you know exactly what's going to happen. I draft more with what are all the possibilities? Is it possible that he lucks into 10 touchdowns? Of course it is.
He just sucks though. Like, yeah, I mean, I could become a tricycle if I got 3 wheels. Like that could happen. I don't see Elliott. I don't see Elliott doing anything. Like he just washed up and
What's the percentage chance that he scores 10 touchdowns?
0. to quote Dean Faber or whatever his name was, 0.0.
Yeah, it's definitely much higher than 0. You're
0.1.
that's objectively inaccurate. Like it's got to. It's not 50%. It's not 50-50. I'm just like, I guess in the 12th round, to me, I just go, what are all the possibilities? Is it possible that Rico Dowdle just sucks and they just feed Zeke the ball and Zeke lucks into 10, 12 touchdowns? A la LeGarrette Blount, 2017, 2016. Remember in 2016, LeGarrette Blount had 18 touchdowns? LeGarrette Blount sucks. He always sucks.
Blunt back then was better than Elliott now. Elliott is so washed up. Dallas's offensive line's bad too. They lost their 2 best linemen.
So I think he could luck into 10 touchdowns. He might not. He might get 5 or 6. I guess I get annoyed when you speak with the confidence. Like, there's no definite chance he will never do anything. He will definitely suck. Well, you don't know. He might not suck. He might get some. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I think there's a chance you're wrong. So I think 12th round's fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't take him.
He's not take him at all. It just seems like
I wouldn't draft him in the 16th round. I don't see the point.
Because you might be wrong. That's why. Because maybe you luck into something. That's why.
But I'm gonna cut him by week 2 anyway. He has no upside. Like, I'm taking Braylon Allen here. Like, if Breece Hall goes down, like, Allen would shoot up to 3rd round ADP. You know what I mean? Like, there is no way Elliott would ever go that high or ever be that valuable. So, like, I don't like. If I take Elliott, there's a good chance I'm cutting him for a kicker or a defense that I have to start. So I just don't really see the point. Which arguing here kind of threw me off of like what I was going.
That's my plan. That was my evil plan right here. Round 13.
There it is. All right, so I'm up now. I'm gonna take another one of my sleepers. So I think you like this guy, Roschon Johnson. He hasn't played in the preseason, which kind of tells me that they value him. Like DeAndre Swift hasn't played either. He played in the Hall of Fame game, and then that was it. Like he hasn't played the previous 2 preseason games. Swift hasn't either. It's been all Khalil Herbert, like nothing but Herbert. I feel like they're showcasing Herbert for a trade, maybe to Dallas. I could see that happening, or maybe somewhere else. But yeah, I mean, Roschon Johnson, I think, has a real chance to be the lead back there once Swift gets injured, because we know he's going to get injured. So
where did Swift go in this draft?
Here, 5'10".
Okay.
So, by the way, Hoyce went quad receiver, two from the Rams. By the way, he's going to have St. Brown, Nakua, and Kupp from the same game, that Sunday night game to start the season, and then he's just went a bunch of running backs after that, which I guess makes sense. If you're going quad receiver early, you should not take another receiver. It's only like maybe the late rounds, and then he went double tight end here. I do like some of his picks, but like Swift and White, like it's your 2 lead backs. It seems very sketchy. So yeah, I mean, we're reviewing this team early. I can't get behind this plan here.
Caleb Williams just goes in round 13. I think it's
great value.
Great value.
Although he took Hurts in round 4, so I guess like you could trade Caleb Williams, so I don't hate it. So you're up here on 13-11. He took Mike Wilson. Mike Wilson,
who I just think is a fantastic talent. I don't know what he's gonna do. Maybe he never gets the ball, but gosh, he's so freaking good. I want him on my team.
Yeah, he's good. I like him more in standard. I like Greg Dortch more in PPR in that team. But I feel like they're going to produce evenly overall. Like in half PPR, I think they'll probably be close. Let's see. Sue says Trump Best has Harris Warren combo. That's a lot of alien mustache love right there. Does he really have that? Let's see. Yeah, I think that's auto draft, to be fair. I think Trump Best has been auto drafting a little bit. But yeah, he has Harris and Warren taking 2 rounds apart there. So it's not something I'd recommend. Taking two running backs from the same team. All right, you're up now.
Yeah, I'm in round 14. This is my last real pick, right?
You don't have to draft kicker defense. No one's forcing you.
No one's gonna put a gun on my head and make me bet $1 on.
$1.50 with inflation.
And so let's see. No, I won't do that. Yeah, I regret taking a quarterback because all the quarterbacks I like are still there in round 14. Man, this is why I shouldn't take quarterback. This is why quarterbacks are the worst. All right, I guess I'll just take there's a little bit of an upside with there's a little bit of a Curtis Samuel in the 14th round. I don't know who's going to be the pass catcher there in Buffalo. I assume
it's going to be Kincaid, right?
I mean, maybe, who knows? I don't know. It's hard to know with that team.
Yeah.
I don't know. So there's just a lot of question marks. Curtis Samuel maybe he gets some good utilization there. Maybe he gets some carries out of the backfield, some gimmicky plays, or maybe by the end of week 2, I realized it was a stupid waste of pick and I had to cut him, to fill the roster spot with something else I need.
Well, I mean, he's probably going to be out the first 2 weeks, but once he returns, because I think it's unlikely he plays week 1, and then the Bills play week 2 on Thursday, so it's going to be tough for him to come back. Yeah, so I think week 3 is when he'd return. I am up here, and this guy I've been warming up to. I think he's available. Hopefully he's available. Yeah, Tim Patrick. He looks back, I think. He might be the receiver 1 on the team. I'm not a big Courtland Sutton guy. He scored 10 touchdowns last year. He's going to regress. Tim Patrick looks like the real deal again, and he did 2 years ago, but he had a slew of injuries. But he looks really healthy now. So hopefully he can stay on the field because he's talented. So
I actually had Courtland Sutton in my queue multiple times and just couldn't pull the trigger.
No, really? I just couldn't do it.
I think I actually think there's I think the 10 touchdowns seemed fluky.
Yeah.
So I think it's easy to assume there'll definitely be some regression there. But I also wonder, I've watched them play, and he's really good in the red zone. He's really good at getting separation. He's good with jump ball. Maybe it wasn't fluky. Maybe he deserves more credit for those 10 touchdowns. I don't know. It's hard to know.
Well, what was his career touchdowns until then? Let's see. Career stats. Courtland Sutton career stats. His touchdown totals each year 4, 6, 0, 2, 2, 10. And I don't see him getting 10 again. I think 4, 5, 6, something like that. I think it's pretty fair. But
where was he drafted in this draft?
Let's see.
10, 11.
10, 11, yeah.
I mean, it's fine, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine. I have to click out of this because I'm hearing the knocking again. I told you before I have exploding head syndrome, which sounds horrible, but it's so innocuous. It's like sometimes you hear knocking that's not there, and it's only because I heard that I started hearing that I thought I was going insane or something. I was worried, and then I looked it up, and it's called exploding head syndrome, where you hear noises that aren't there, and it's what do you do to cure this? And it said get more sleep. It's you're tired and you're hearing stuff because you're so exhausted.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. All right. So let's read some more comments. This one, Dave says, Kenny's draft fell apart after the 6th round. Terrible. His evaluation of Zeke, also terrible. Megan says, I got Goddard in the middle of Walmart looking for a brake light bulb that it needed. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Sue says, Kenny must not have his socks inside out, taking a tight end early, and then Keenan DJ Moore combo, and his team so far is kind of old. So we've gone over this. Wearing your socks inside out is the way to go. Someone took my Greg Dortch, by the way, so I'm all out of sleepers.
My team is old. Wilson, Charbonnet, Dodson.
Let's see. Jones,
Aaron Wilson, Jonathan Taylor.
Jones is kind of old. Allen's old. Hopkins, obviously, but that's it. That's pretty much it. It's not that bad.
And all those guys are still very good.
Yeah. By the way, we had a recommendation yesterday. So I was talking about how you should wear your socks inside out, unless you're working out, which is we learned. So it's just more comfortable and it's just better. But someone recommended, I think it was our guest on last night. He's like, "What? Like, if you wear your socks inside out, should you also wear your underwear inside out?" So I was like, "Huh? Well, let me find out." So I actually tried that today. And I have to say, it was more comfortable, but I worry about like long-term chafing there. So that's it's much riskier than wearing your socks inside out.
Now,
So.
this is my sock. It's an ankle sock.
Okay.
Because I'm in middle school. But I have little gummy. See a little gummy, a little it's a little sticky thing.
Yeah.
So that my sock doesn't come off my foot back. If I wore it inside out, the gummy would be lost. So
right.
You're welcome, everyone.
Nice. All right. I'm up again. Man, there's like nothing left. All my sleepers are gone, which, I guess at this point I would just take a defense or something, but it's not as fun. So let's go with there's really no one here. As soon as I hit the ticking, I'll pick a guy. Just there's really no one. All right, I'm going to take Demario Douglas. I think he's the best receiver on the team. This or PPR, I would like him a lot more. But it's obviously not PPR, but he could still be the most productive player on that team or receiver on that team. Not that it's not saying much because that team is going to be horrible, or at least that offense will be horrible. The defense will still be good.
I didn't think there was any chance that Mitchell would be taken. I have him in my queue, and he was taken. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting pretty thin here. All right, you're up with your penultimate pick.
All right. Let me just read these couple names off really fast. Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Matt Stafford. They're all there in the 15th round. This is why I should not take a quarterback early. Tight ends, Firemouth, Cole Kmet, both still there. Even if you want Taysom Hill, if you want to play the gimmick game, still there. So let me see for running back here. I'm going to take let's take a shot here. What's the hold on, where is he? Mr. One Jamal Williams. Because I actually think he's going to end up being the backup on that team this year. And so not Kendry Miller. And so if you want to luck into some touchdowns, or if Alvin Kamara were to be injured, and even if that offense was mediocre, Jamal Williams could find his way to 8-9 touchdowns, right? It's not crazy. We've seen it before.
Yeah, we saw in Detroit, he scored 18 touchdowns. So you're up with your final pick.
All right, my final pick here. Let me see. Let me just pick a player I want to talk about. Okay, I'm at I'm looking for the player that I'm wanting to talk about, and I can't find him, and there he is. Boom. One, Mr. Trey Sermon.
That's Dylan.
I am I am not a fan of the handcuff. I don't think you need the handcuff, so I'm not drafting Sermon here because he's a handcuff to Taylor. I'm just drafting him because I just think he could be a long shot valuable contributor.
I think he's he's a good backup, I think. So of course I go with Troy Dye here. So we had a mishap yesterday where our guest took Troy Dye in the 5th round by accident. And so then I actually corrected it into Tony Pollard, but then I drafted Troy Dye in the 16th round because he was real available. And then my guest was complaining because he wanted to draft Troy Dye as his troll pick. So I stole the troll pick. Frank Gorgos, not junior, but senior.
Excellent.
I love these late picks. Dave says Zeke is done 5%. He scores 3 touchdowns, 95%. He sucks. All right. So Rude Carr says, so I got one spot to fill on my bench of PPR. It's between Gus Edwards and Zach Moss. I think Zach Moss.
Gus Edwards.
Really? Okay. I think I don't know. I think Moss is more juice than Edwards. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's not bleak. The boss says, would you rather have Elijah Mitchell or Braylon? I think Braylon, because Elijah Mitchell might be the third running back on the team, but
can I pick neither?
Yeah, I mean Jake Butt. Nice. It's a great way to finish that Spinetta. Nice work. Yeah, I mean, well, no, I mean Braylon has a lot of potential. I like him a lot. Elijah Mitchell's the third running back, but he could be traded. So, Najee and Jalen, or Kamala and Elizabeth. Nice.
Elizabeth?
Yeah, well, I assume like Najee Harris, Kamala Harris, Jalen Warren, Elizabeth Warren.
Well done.
Well done. That's pretty good. Yeah, Harrison Warren. Josh Allen would just throw it to himself at this point. That could be true. Good. That'd be pretty sick because you get the PPR points as well.
That might be a legitimately better option than what they've got.
Try to throw it into an opposing helmet and then try to catch it. That's how bad it is. CM would drop because of the turf toe. Yeah, the turf toe is he's injured and don't know when he's going to come back, but maybe week 3, I suppose. I don't know. And then following up with James Polk. Hold on. Cassandra says QBs and tight ends won't last as long in the real draft. People here generally try to be hyper sharp. In real drafts, that won't happen. In real drafts, people also take QB tight end panic in a way they don't in mocks. Yeah, that's absolutely true. So I think just drafting, you have to draft with that in mind. But then again, like you're going to get better sleepers. So it's going to be easier, I think. Sis says Walt has not won by 2 Broncos. That's almost like Kenny like taking 2 Giants. Yep. That's definitely true. I like Patrick. I've been drafting Patrick. This is the first time I drafted Williams though. Chris says, good evening, Walter. Good evening, Chris. Dave says, doing the right thing by drafting a defense kicker, not sure of the unwritten rules here. So I always say that if you don't have to, don't do it. Some leagues may force you to do it. But if you're drafting with like a week out or like more than a week out, then just don't do it. Don't draft the defensive kickers because you want as many shots as sleepers as possible. Scary Hours drafting his 4th white dude so far. All rookies. I got drafting straight from Nick Adams' sleeper list. Nick Adams. Chris saying, I have a very exciting proposition for you that I'm practically bursting at the seams to tell you about. May I expose my newest idea in front of Ken Doll here? Yes, please do. Dave says, Kenny, I'm not a fan of handcuffs. Drafts back-to-back handcuffs. And then Dave said,
Jamal Williams is not my handcuff.
Yeah, no, he's not.
My handcuff.
Yeah. No, he only took 1 handcuff. So, all right. So, you want to talk about your team? Then I'll talk about mine. Then we can review most of the teams. We already looked at Hoyspan's team, so we don't have to do that. But do you want to talk about your team?
Yeah. This is not a team I would draft ever really in real life. Let's be honest. Like this is far beyond outside of the norm of possibility for what Kenny Ortiz might do. But yeah, I think this team will be competitive. If I could do it over again, Garrett Wilson, I think it kind of set me on a tone that I felt like I needed to kind of catch up from. So if I had taken, and my normal strategy would be to take a running back there. So if I had taken Josh Jacobs, maybe even Isaiah Pacheco, if I had taken a running back there that I trust, I would have felt better about that. Maybe DJ Moore in the next spot. Maybe I still take Aaron Jones. Or if I took Garrett Wilson here, maybe instead of DJ Moore, I take Alvin Kamara. I don't know. I think this is a little out of sorts for me. I like Tony Pollard. I love Jordan. I like George Kittle in the 6th, but I think Cassandra's right. In real drafts, he's not going to be there in the 6th round. I love Keenan Allen in the 7th. I think he might actually be there in the 7th. I think people are really down on him. Gus Edwards, I've come around on. You have not come around, obviously. But Walt, who else is there? I mean, just kidding.
Actually, I like Kamani Vidal. I think he could be something. I don't know. Well, who knows?
I think I've come around. I mean, based on the feedback I've gotten from you, I've come around that J.K. Dobbins is probably not worth any energy investing in. And so if I like the team and like the offense, I want to at least take a shot. Maybe you're right. Maybe the rookie's the better bet there, but I'll take a shot on Gus Edwards. Again, he's not a great player. He's not even a good player. He's just a guy. But in the 8th round is my 4th running back. Yeah, I think this is a good team with not a whole lot of upside. So this is a team that, if everything goes right, this is the 5th seed and loses in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I can see this team getting to the playoffs. I went with Hill, Metcalf, Pickens as my receiver, then Watson. I feel like I'm pretty good at receiver, so I kind of waited until my 5th receiver, then took Patrick Douglas at the end. So I think the one regret I had here was Jordan Love in the 8th round, but I kind of panicked because I had no time left because I was searching for Zamir White of all people. It was gone, and then I also got distracted talking. So that tends to happen when you talk and draft, and you only have a minute per. Ideally, ideally he's an RB2, but still it's fine RB1. Then Mixon, and then Javonte Williams. I like him. Then I took a bunch of running back sleepers with Dowdle, Davis, Allen, Roshan, and then of course Troy Dye at the end. But I think that like one of those guys could emerge as like a top player. Like if Cook is benched, Davis certainly does. If I'm right about Elliott being terrible, Dowdle has a chance. If Breece Hall goes down, I Braylon Allen there. If I should say when DeAndre Swift gets hurt and Khalil Herbert's traded, Roshan Johnson could be the lead back. So I think there's a decent chance that one of those guys, maybe even two, emerge as a real thing. So I like them. And then I was hoping to get Jordan Love in the 9th round, but if he wasn't there, I was going to take Burrow anyway. So, and then Njoku 11th round. I know you said he sucks, but I think that's a fine range for him. So that is my team. Let's look at some of the other teams. So Spinetta went, we kind of talked about some of the picks he made. So Brooks, that's just way too early for Brooks. We seem to go like 8th, 9th round, and he's injured. He's going to be out till like week 5 at the very earliest. Rashee Rice, there's just some concern there. Like you could be suspended. If not, that's gonna be great. 7th round, but like Khalil Herbert, 10th round. Like unless like he knows he's gonna be traded, like, and I guess he could be, but still, I think 10th round is too early for him. I love the Pearsall though. Love Tua in the 12th. Tyron Tracy, nice upside. I gotta love Jake Butt there. I've been talking up Greg Dortch in the 15th. Plus like Pittman here, and I love Breece Hall obviously, but. Some good picks. Laporta, I think, good value in the 5th. I think like some good picks, but some I hate. So I can go either way with the team. What do you think?
I just think at the end of the day, like the running back core here is really suspect. Like Brooks, Benson, like Chuba, Herbert. Like there could be some awesome potential here, but it could also be terrible. Running back position, I'll say it over and over again until I'm blue in the face. Isn't it the saying? I'm Hispanic. I don't know. I'm just convinced that running backs it's the hardest position to fix mid season. If my receivers end up being a train wreck, I potentially could fix that somehow between trade or waiver wire. That's actually, but there's no way to fix receiver core or running back core. It's terrible, and this running back core has a chance to be really terrible.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But he did take some flyers. I like Hubbard. Benson could be the start. Like who knows? There's a chance that some of these guys emerge. But yeah, I think you're right for the most part. And you can't really count on Brooks at all. So his RB2 is Benson, which is I guess it's Hubbard. But
Hubbard's probably the most reliable running back beyond Hall.
Yeah, definitely is. John Sanders, 250 super chat. Thank you so much, John. He says for down payment on a new house. Yeah, we're actually trying to move within the next couple of years. So, thank you, John. Just really appreciate your continued support.
You're the man, John.
Awesome. Yeah, for sure. So wait, hold on. So Chris says, well, what do you say to you and I finally uniting as one to combine our great ideas and author the next great American romance novel, a real page turn and juice squeezer, something along the lines of the book Mr. Garrison wrote on South Park. Well, I don't know. I mean, if you give me some specifics, maybe.
What's going on here? I feel very lost.
So it says my league forces to draft defensive kicker, however, allowed to drop afterward. So I was able to drop a kicker for Herbert. Okay, that makes sense. I just don't like why they force you to draft it and then you could drop them. It seems so silly. Chris continues. Kenny's honesty knows no limitations. A true man that wears his heart on his sleeve. He's the Daemon Targaryen, which Kenny doesn't get because he didn't watch House of the Dragon. Of guest hosts, even if he refuses to watch House of the Dragon. Okay, got to that.
I do refuse to watch House of the Dragon.
I think you should. I think it's good. Although
I refuse. I'm not gonna. I can't do it.
George R. R. Martin's involved in this.
I'm still angry. How many years has it been? How many years?
It's been 5.
I'm not over it. I'm not over it.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. However, George R. R. Martin is involved with this, unlike season 7 and 8 of Game of Thrones. So I think you should watch it. I don't know. I just give it a chance. Watch the first 2 episodes.
I'm getting angry thinking about it right now.
I don't blame you at all. Sue says that down payment will come in handy after paying tax on the realized capital gains. Yeah, seriously.
Oh gosh.
If that really happens, like goodbye, America, we're done. It's a good Kamala reference, yeah. Nick says picking 7th in PPR league if they're available. Should I take Bijan or AJ Brown? I mean Bijan at 7 overall is insane. I think I would take Bijan there.
I can't imagine it would be there in any format, right?
Yeah. If he's gone, Brown is fantastic too.
Yeah.
And Chris says, and you should be angry. Worse things happen on Westworld, though. That's definitely true. Westworld went way downhill. Westworld season 1 was ridiculously amazing. It was so great. Season 2, I thought had some major flaws, but it was some cool things. And then, man, it's just got so much worse. So
I didn't make it through season 3. I think I got through 4 episodes and I just quit.
Yeah. We my wife and I stopped too. It was horrible. All right. Let's get to Team 2. Funky Dan. I think we talked about this team because he went triple running back here with Metcalf, Walker, and Cook. Which Cook then he went a bunch of non-running backs, and he didn't go running back till round 12. So his receivers,
makes sense.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. So he went Cooper, Dell, Jackson Andrews, that pairing. Then Addison, Jackson Smith, Cortland Sutton, Wicks. I like these players. Nothing wrong with any of these players. I think just James Cook, I don't love, but again, this is the range where you're not going to take anyone you like. So I can definitely understand that pick. You want some running back values late, potentially Carson Steele. If Pacheco goes down, maybe it's him. Lobby, who could be the running back instead of Madison. Gibson Lloyd's injured, but maybe he's the RB2. So I get some of these picks. I think this is a decent team despite the triple running back start. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of strength here. Obviously, the running backs are strong. Jackson Andrews could be a great, stack there. I guess I foresee the receivers being incredibly inconsistent, right? I mean, Cooper, the numbers always look better than the ride. Tank Dell could be awesome, but we're not sure. Addison, who knows with the quarterback situation. Njigba, same. Sutton, who knows? I mean, I feel like this could be a really good team, or they could end up sputtering.
Yeah. Chris asking Saquon or AJ in PPR. I think Saquon. You agree?
Yeah. I'm taking the top 5 running backs in any format before I take a receiver.
Yeah, I agree. Chris says the show unraveled as soon as Jimmy Simpson wasn't on it. Who's
technical difficulties over here on my end. I don't know if you can hear me. Am I frozen? Hello?
All right, we're back. Do you hear me?
I'm back. I froze. What was going on?
I think I froze. Or we both froze. I don't know. It was weird. Yeah. Okay. I could hear you when you were talking, so it's definitely me.
That's funny.
Yeah. So I'm back. I was reading Sue's comment. If you write a romance novel, Ice Cream better be in it. Yeah, she's from the book Jerks of the College Years. So if you guys want that, want to know what that's all about. What is that?
Comments, some of the comments. Actually, by the way, I never even read the comments. I didn't realize I can click on the comments tab and then I can see the comments ahead of time.
Oh yeah. Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah.
I didn't realize.
Oh yeah. Chris says there will be a chapter on that. We will freeze her heart for good with a cool Island song. I was wondering how Kenny runs the show. Yeah. So Now you usurp Walt and rule as the king of the Iron Football website. Well, Kenny owns the hosting company, so he can technically do that.
I'm shutting it down. That's it.
No, it's the Kenny Show. Yeah, we both hear you now. Yeah, ice cream Prosy. Yes, exactly. She came back after all these years. All right, so Team 3 CMO. I mean, Bijan Adams is a good start. I mean, Allen, I know you don't like QB in round 3, but if you truly hate everyone there, then I can understand it. You have to worry about this clash here. He took McLaurin and then Robinson. I like both those players individually, but your RB2 and your flex your receiver 2 and flex are from the same team. That is a clash you don't want. I think Ingram was taken a little too early. I think you can weigh in tight end. Like you could probably take Ingram in the 10th round. Like I've seen him last so long. I do like Jacoby Myers around 10. I love that. Mooney, I think, has some potential. So it seems like a decent team. I think Ty Chandler way too early in round 9. Like some of these picks are taken too early, like Chandler and Ingram. Stevenson, I don't like around 4. So go ahead.
Algier in 11.
Algier in 11, I think, is okay. I get it because he's if Bijan goes down tomorrow, Algier is going 3rd round. No doubt. So I get Algier. I don't have an issue with that. I just think that Ingram too early, Chandler too early, Stevenson too early, and then this clash with McLaurin Robinson. Other than that, I think this is a good team. What do you think?
The McLaurin Robinson clash only bothers me because it's a bad team that I don't think is going to put up a lot of points. If you're on a really good offense, it don't bother me because it's a really good offense. I like it. I like getting 2 players in a really good offense. I'm going to have a large share of a team that I know is going to score a lot of points, which I don't feel necessarily that's the case with the Redskins. So that's my concern there. But yeah, I think his team is fine. I'm more and more warming up to Bijan being worthy of the number 1 overall pick. I said earlier, I'm still Team McCaffrey, but I'm more and more over the last couple of days. The more I think about it, the more and more I think Bijan is defensible at number 1. So number 3 is value.
Yeah, the Falcons made some nice signings recently, or moves. They traded for Matthew Judon, and then they signed Justin Simmons. So their defense is going to be a lot better, and that's just bullish for Bijan because he's going to be running with more leads in the second half. So I like that. I could definitely see him going number 1. I think you make a strong case for Brees, McCaffrey, or Bijan. Sanders 9-11 here. I really worry about this running back core here. Like you have Gibbs, Gibbs is great, but then you have Zach Moss, who may not start, and then McLaughlin, who played into the 3rd quarter, and Bigsby is a backup. Elijah Mitchell's the 3rd stringer. Like Zach Moss is your RB2, and he may not start. It's just it's pretty rough here. I think that's what happens when you go QB and tight end early. I do like this pairing. Mahomes, Kelsey, I love stacking, and then you have Harrison Evans. I think that instead of Odunze in round 7, I think I would take a running back, or Deontay Johnson, or like Khalil Shakir, maybe take him around later and get another running back. I don't think Brandon Cooks is going to amount to much. Like I think that you need to, and I appreciate the Marvin Mims there, support from Rainmakers. I think this running back core is just super weak, and I think you had to make another running back pick. Like even if you like Moss, fine. Instead of Odunze, maybe take Spears or Singletary or Brown or Ford, and then you could probably get Odunze in round 8, or if you even still if you don't have Odunze, I think it's fine. I just think that you really need to get better running backs. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Zach Moss is like an 11th round guy, 12th round guy. Like Chase Brown's clearly a better player there. I don't know if he's going to get the bulk of the carries, but he's a better player, I would imagine. Zach Moss is just a guy. And there's a lot of question marks here. I think that. I also think Marvin Harrison, man, it's too early. By my count, I think I got 7 or 8 receivers I would take before him that went after him. I'd take Adams before him. I'd take Olave, Evans, Samuel, Waddle, Ayuk, DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, Devontae Smith. I'd take all those guys before I draft Marvin Harrison Jr., which probably means I'm never going to get Marvin Harrison Jr. this year. Just too early in my mind. And then, I agree with you said about running backs.
Yeah, Harrison was the 9th receiver taken here. He's 14th in my rankings. Do you know where you have him in your rankings off the top of your head?
I don't, but lower than you do for sure. Not in the top 20.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I love Harrison, but yeah, I agree. I think second round's too early. The third round, I think, is okay. But again, this is the range after ATN. Like this is the range where all these guys you can argue around later. So if you think Harrison's gonna be great, I don't hate taking him around too. Let's see here. Chris, speaking of Frosties, what about the big free Baconator deal in the Wendy's app? My arteries clog more each week. I love Baconators. It's so good. Chris says, can't believe Pittsburgh's running back is going to 11th round. Yeah, or Warren's hurt, but yeah, got to think that it's not going to be too bad. And it says, oh, Walt, before my brain reverts to nonsense, what do you say doing a final NFL team records projection early September before the season starts? I don't think too much has changed from my previews, though. Like, I don't know. Maybe I can just revise them or something. Definitely, yeah, because Chris says the Falcons look more like 10-win team. Yeah, I agree with that. Before they got Judon and Simmons, I was pretty down on them, but I do think that they could win 10 games now, so it's 7. So yeah, I'll look at it for sure. Sue says Sanders' head still clear since the dig straight. Blake says, need your opinion. Had the 109 and 12-man, got AJ Brown, Pacheco, Kamara, Ayuk, Pickens, Rashi, and Love. Any good? That sounds good to me. I think it's a pretty good team. What do you think, Kenny?
Yeah, I'm assuming you drafted AJ at the end of the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, without knowing who was on the board when you pick these players, it's hard to know for sure. But I'm based on what we can see. Yeah, I'm guessing it's fine. Ayuk, where do you get Ayuk? Ayuk in the fourth round.
Fourth round. Yeah,
that feels like great value.
Yeah, it does. Actually, would have switched Ayuk and Kamara, but it's the same result. All right, so where are we? Team 5, Dave G. So he started CeeDee Lamb and then ATN and White. I know that you don't like those guys, and I think in PPR and non-PPR, I'm not a big fan of them either. ATN, obviously, I would have taken him. Checo's there, so Rashad White, I'm not. He's actually on my bust list for non-PPR. And then I think Neighbors is going way too early. I do love Higgins. Prescott in 9th round's okay. Eckler in 10th round seems like decent value, but like Lockett seems like a waste. He's 31 and like he's just slowing down. You talk about Kendrick Miller. Like I loved your Jamal Williams 15th round pick. Like he's clearly above Kendrick Miller on the depth chart. So I like that seems like a waste. Like Kendrick Miller, he's so disappointing. He just can't stay healthy. Godwin and Sanders is not great. It seems like pretty mediocre to me, I think. What are your thoughts here?
As I was just looking, I think in every single spot, literally in every single spot this team was drafted, there was at least one, if not multiple people on the board that I would thought were clearly better options. So sorry, Dave G. T. Higgins in the 5th round might be the only exception there. Yeah, I like Higgins.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make an argument for Lamb in the 5th spot, but I'm taking Barkley or Jonathan Taylor or Tyreek Hill at this point above CeeDee Lamb. I'm not sure what to make of the contract situation or how much that's going to impact him at all, but it does make me slightly nervous.
Yeah, I think Lamb ATN's a solid start. I just like White is he's in my bust list for non PPR. But I think Neighbors, I've seen him go 4th round. I just don't get it. Like rookies just go way too early. And like Pitts, you can wait for a tight end. I do like Spears. I think that's fine.
I think Godwin in the 8th is fine. I mean, I'm fine with him mid to late 8th. I think that's about where he should go.
Yeah, it's fine. And then I said it before, Eckler in the 10th feels like decent value.
Dak in the 9th, right? Taking right. I mean, Dak could be a top 3 fantasy quarterback, right? I mean, he's got the talent and the experience.
Yeah. So and Mason, he's technically the RB2, so 14th round, that's okay. But yeah, I mean, the picks I really didn't like: Lockett, Miller, Neighbors, and then Pitts. I think those are the 4 worst ones. So there's some good things about this team, though. All right, so Scary Hours, Team 6. So it goes Barkley, Henry to start. Love Barkley, hate Henry. Just man, I just really despise Derrick Henry. It's like the member berry pick of the year.
Where is Henry in your ranks? Where do you have him?
It's pretty low. Derrick Henry is my 18th running back, and he went 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th. So reached by 7. players. I'm never remotely close to drafted Derrick Henry. In fact, there was I can't remember what night it was. It was like earlier this week where it was like the 5th round or something. And like Henry was the top player on my board. I'm like, I guess I'm going to take Derrick Henry here. And I was looking for him. He was taken in the 2nd round. I just forgot to delete him. So that's how much I hate Derrick Henry. But no,
I don't think there's ever been a time where I've been much higher on Henry than you in the last 7 years. Has this ever happened? I mean, this is
no. I mean, you've hated Derrick Henry. I think that I think he's close to being done in the NFL. I like it wouldn't surprise me if he's out of the league in 2 years. I just don't see him with him anymore. Like he's done. Like he looked done last year. Like why are people drafting him in the 2nd round? I had issues taking him in the 5th round. I'm like, do I get him here? Maybe.
Wow. Oh yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, I think he's close to Montgomery. He's very close to Montgomery in my rankings. Where do I have Montgomery? I think this is funny. Montgomery is 22 and Henry's 18. I have them 4 spots apart. So I like the other running backs more here. Like Montgomery, most are in 6th rounds. Okay, I think. Definitely don't like Elliott, but I do like Will Shipley. I think if Barkley goes down tomorrow, Shipley could be a league winner. Samuel, what'd you say?
It's absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I love Samuel Smith. Great start to receiving core. I think Ridley was auto pick. I think he ran out of time. But Richardson in round 8 is like, I like he could go insane. There's just a major downside with him. I think if you draft Richardson, I think you should take a backup quarterback. I usually don't like drafting backup quarterbacks, but Richardson is just very risky. But he has insane upside. So maybe instead of Elliott, take a guy like Caleb Williams or something. And then Bowers 11th round's fine. Luke McCaffrey in 15th. I'm given the news that I saw on Dotson, which I don't know if that's true, but if Dotson is cut, I think that's great for McCaffrey. He could suddenly be the receiver 2 on the team just like automatically. So I think he's someone you should look out for. Love the Frank Gore pick, troll pick at the end. So outside of Henry, I like this team a lot. Just Derrick Henry kind of ruins it for me. So what do you think?
I think I agree pretty much everything you're saying. I would be fine with drafting Henry. I was just trying to think about where I've got him here. It's really, for me, it's like late 3rd. I'd be fine with taking him there. Yeah, but I think most pretty much what you said there is right. It's good.
Mm-hmm. Blake says
I do. I mean, I love Deebo Samuel and Devontae Smith there in 3rd, 4th round. I think that's a great value, great 1-2 punch.
Yeah. I think that's pretty outstanding too. Blake says Leggett is sneaky pick in deep leagues with that receiver room. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the team's just going to run the ball a lot, and but they have Deontay Johnson. Like he could be good, I guess. I just don't know. Chris says I likely got on my watch list for keeper league, maybe a midseason addition. I think he has potential to be another Devo, given their friendship and Samuel working out with him. I think that's a good comparison for him. People also kind of Bowser out of the race, even when he's 8th. Derrick Henry is the one lightning bolt plus star combo away from retaking first. That's a funny callback. I used to compare Derrick Henry to Bowser from Super Mario Kart, just the way he runs. So yeah, a great callback there, Chris. All right, so Trump best teammate. He alternated running backs and receivers. So his receivers Chase, Waddle, Kirk, Marquise Brown's outstanding. Then Jacobs, Connor, Harrison, Warren. We talked about Harris, Warren. Don't do that. And then Corum. I like Corum. And then he went tight end Goddard in the 10th. Could have got him 11th, maybe. That's still fine. And then Purdy. I think this is auto draft though. Then and late he took some sleeper receivers, which I'd rather take like sleeper running backs, but Adonai Mitchell has potential. Polk probably no. And Trey Tucker probably no. Tober probably no. So like these late round picks, I think I'd rather go a receiver. Although I do like Foreman quite a bit. We talked about him in our like a deep sleepers show that we did like a month and a half ago. Like with Pierre Strong getting injured today, it's suddenly just Foreman. So I like Foreman. So yeah, and they took Jacobs in 2nd round. He sniped me there. That was outstanding. So outside of this Harris Warren thing, I like to see him quite a bit outside of the sleeper receivers. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think I agree. I agree with you mostly there. I I still don't like the idea of starting with a receiver when I've got a chance to get like Jonathan Taylor on the board, but it's defensible. Love Josh Jacobs, Jalen Waddle. Like I think that's a great 2-3. James Conner, yeah. Love Christian Kirk. Yeah, I think I mostly agree with you there. Question on the Jalen Warren injury. I was a little bit nervous, so rather than taking Jalen Warren there, a couple picks before, I took Gus Edwards, which you obviously loved so much. But am I being overcautious? Is the Jalen Warren injury fine?
Yeah, it sounded like there's a report today saying that it wasn't that serious. It's a hamstring, I think. So those can linger, but he's probably going to play week 2 or week 3, and maybe even week 1. I don't think he's definitely ruled out of week 1. So I think people are overreacting to it. So you can take that, you can use that to your advantage, I think.
I love overreacting. It's my favorite.
Exactly. All right. So Dylan goes, I was surprised by Achane in round 1, but it's funny. If you put Kyren Williams in round 1 and Achane in round 2, actually makes more sense. It's like, it's like the same result almost. And then Ayuk in round 3, if he stays in San Francisco, it's great. I think Hurst in round 4 is a great value. Kincaid at the end of round 5. I like that too. So I like some of the picks he's made, like Palmer. Burton has potential here. I know you like Keaton Mitchell. Caleb Williams in the 13th round is awesome. And you got to love Brady, that troll pick. My one concern here, though, is that his running back depth is almost nothing. Like, right. If Achane Williams at the top, and then Vidal, who might be the third stringer there to start, and then Mitchell, who's coming off the torn ACL, there is zero depth here. So instead of Jameson Williams in round 8, you probably should have gone Jalen Warren or Benson or Hubbard, whatever. Just get a solid backup here at running back, just in case things go wrong. I mean, you have Kyren Williams and Achane. That is so injury prone. That's probably the most injury prone running back core of any team. So it's very unlikely that both make it through the season. So if one goes down in week 2 or week 3, you're starting Vidal or you're just picking someone up, it's going to be very rough. So try to make sure you have better running back depth, especially if you draft very injury prone running backs early. What do you think?
Sorry, Dylan. I think this is the worst team of the bunch. Maybe, yeah. I think it's the worst team. Achane to me is a late 3rd, early 4th round pick. Kyren Williams to me is a late 2nd, early 3rd round pick for me. That's your 1-2 punch. Wow. Yeah. Not only are both of those guys injury prone, I also think both of those guys could be could lose a lot of the carries. I don't think Quorum's going to take the job from Kyren Williams immediately. But I think Quorum could get a lot of action early in the year, and what if he's getting goal line carries? What if the Rams just they look at Kyren Williams and they think he's injury prone, and they just want to give Quorum a lot of touches just to kind of keep Williams up the field. And then with Devon Achane, last time I checked, I think they've got 19 guys on the depth chart on that team. Last I heard, I think your sister's on the team now. She's gonna get some I don't know, man. Literally, Devon Achane, it wouldn't surprise me if he's getting 7 or 8 carries a game for the first few games of the year. Yeah, I'm never going to take a running back who is not the primary ball carrier in his team to be my RB1. And so, yeah, you ragged on a lot of the things later on the team, so I wanted to kind of rag on the first 2 picks.
Okay, makes sense. And we talked about Hoistman, so let's go to Rofi. Actually like this team quite a bit. He went hero strategy with Kamara, and I don't even like Kamara, but I like this approach if you can get away with it. So yeah, the thought here is to take one great running back, which you can argue Kamara, but then to take a bunch of other running backs. I think you should have taken 1 or 2 more. Instead of McMillan, I think it should have been another running back, but he went Chase Brown or Chubb. A big risk here, but round 9, I think you can take a shot. Jalen Wright, who might end up getting some time, and Bucky Irving, who's looked good in the preseason. So, the thought there is to get some sleepers, and again, instead of McMillan, that should have been another running back, and even Downs, just take 2 more running backs. I do like Daniels there as a sleeper, or just a potential trade target, because he took Stroud in round 6, but I think round 12 or 13, if you can get Caleb or Daniels, they're going too late, I think, and I think you can get something from them in a trade. Another thing I don't like is Keon Coleman around 7. I think that's a little too early, but I do love the start. Like Jefferson Brown's just a great one-two puncher receiver, and then Collins. Like that's great. And then he took Stroud, and then McBride and Stroud to pair with Collins. So I think overall, I think the team was good. Just make some changes, get some more running backs. If you're going to do hero running back, you have to draft a lot of running backs late. So what do you think about this team?
Yeah, I'm much more down on this team than you are. I just hate the strategy. I don't like the hero running back strategy. I don't think it works most of the time. It could work out. Now, I think this is a great conversation on strategy. Like any strategy could work if you pick the right players and you get a little bit of luck. So certainly. So could this team be competitive? Absolutely. I think it's more likely than not. I think there's a greater than 50% chance it does not work out. I don't like the strategy. I don't like the approach. If you're going to take a quarterback and a tight end, like you got to take one or the other. I hate what a team looks like when you take one or the other, or when you take both instead of one or the other. So yeah, I don't like it. I love Kamara. I'm actually much higher on Kamara than you are, but the idea of Kamara as my hero running back in this strategy, that feels risky. So love Jefferson, love AJ Brown. I like some of the other players in this team. Love Trey McBride. I think he has potential to be the best tight end in football. But I just don't like the approach.
Yeah. So I don't know, 3 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 1 tight end, and 97 receivers makes sense to me. And he says, I feel like Achane's the 3rd or 4th or even 5th round pick in a standard format, but perhaps I'm just distracted by Kenny's book collection.
That's true. That's what it is.
That's you sometimes see people with the fake books in the background, but those are real books. Skipping out on Amon-Ra, we discussed Hoistman's team earlier in the stream. I don't feel like we don't need to rehash it. We both talked about that. And then 4 kickers drafted. One of them is the guy who missed 3 kicks in last weekend's preseason games. That's less than half the league took kickers. I'm proud of these results. All right, so that's about it. Thanks guys for watching. Really appreciate it. Thank you especially to John Sanders for the $250 super chat.
You know, man, John.
Yeah, for sure. And then we will be back tomorrow after the preseason games to do another fantasy mock draft. So join us then. Kenny, thanks for joining us once again. Do you want to talk about your site, thecapisfake.com?
Thecapisfake.com, where I make the definitive case that the salary cap is indeed fake. But I just posted today my 2024 perfect fantasy draft strategy. Perfect draft plan, kind of round by round, what I would do, who are the players, what order I would take them in. So I don't necessarily have like ranks set, but you can basically see them in the order in which players are listed is in essence my my ranks. So kind of players I like, players I don't like, and kind of the approach round by round. No, I am not advocating you take quarterback early. No, I'm not advocating for zero running back or hero running back. No, I play fantasy football like it's 1997. That's why I still win.
Nice. Yeah. I like the new design too. Looks pretty sharp. So yeah, check out thecapisfake.com. Lots of great articles there, including Kenny's draft guide, which I would recommend. Please scroll back down to kickers and defenses. Is that in this draft? Let me see.
Oh yeah, on my draft guide, I've got
hold on. It's in your draft guide. Let me get back to that.
Is there something he wants?
The kickers defense. Yeah, don't get cute. You guys can read this on Kenny's site. So definitely check out thecapisfake.com. But yeah, guys, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit the link in the description for the merch store. All that would be appreciated. And then Chris says, no, that's a joke on the page, Walt. Damn Ron Burgundy syndrome. Yeah, that's I'll read anything you guys post. I've said that before. All right. Once again, we'll be back tomorrow after the preseason games for the final mock draft of the week. And then on Sunday, I'll be live to do a real fantasy draft. So you guys can tune in then, maybe give me some recommendations. Chris asking Kenny, how are your Fever ticket sales going?
Actually, they're going quite well.
Nice.
I may or may not. I need to have a conversation with the IRS.
It's good. That was a great move to buy the Indiana Fever tickets in the sale.
Nice. One game the tickets sold for like 6x. It was quite fantastic.
Wow, that's awesome. Man,
That's certainly not the norm, but yeah.
That's insane. Yeah, well done on your part. All right, guys, have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow, and we'll be back tomorrow. So join us then.